Hi guys, today I wanted to look at some of the potential new names for the Utah NHL team that should be starting next year. It's unclear right now if they're going to actually have a new name by next year. Could just be the Coyotes, could just be a hockey club like the Commanders did before they became the Commanders. Did the Washington football team for a year or two before actually choosing their new name. So let's look at some of the options here. Starting off with the Utah Frost. So when you look at the list, you'll notice there's a lot of these kind of similar snow, ice, cold weather themed names. Frost is one of them. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of this one. I definitely have some ones in this sort of category that I like better. Frost also just, I don't know how you make this into like a good logo. And I don't know, it just doesn't really go well with Utah. I feel like Utah Frost just doesn't really sound great, I feel like. So I don't think they're going to go with this one, and I wouldn't either. Then Utah Ice. I don't really like the name, and I'm not really sure how you'd make this into a logo. It also just sounds kind of awkward because every NHL team plays on ice, and ice is a big part of hockey, so it's not really unique to Utah or this team specifically. But at the same time, I do like kind of like the sound of Utah Ice. It just sounds kind of cool to me. I don't really know why. I wouldn't be disappointed if they chose this one. There's because there's better options, but I guess like in general, it's not like a terrible name. I don't know. I like kind of the shorter names on the list because Utah's only 4 letters, so to have some of those shorter letter names, like Ice, I think is cool. So I definitely like Ice more than Frost. I just think it goes well, goes better. But yeah, definitely hope they don't choose that. Then we have Powder, and there's no way they're gonna choose this. Not really sure why they decided to even list it at this point. There's no way they're choosing it, but especially because I just don't know how you make this into a logo at all. I just don't see how this happens. Yeah, I just can't see this happening. It's also kind of like Frost, Ice. And I just feel like those are better choices anyways than Powder. So I just don't see that becoming the name. The next we got Mountaineers. Mountaineers, I could see happening just because it's kind of a not really used probably commonly enough name. West Virginia Mountaineers is probably the first thing that comes to mind. The University of West Virginia. But Utah's obviously pretty, well known for their mountains. They host the Winter Olympics, skiing there, which will be talked about more. So I could definitely see this one being the name, and I would not be mad at all if they chose it. I definitely think there's some better options, but if they chose this, I would not be mad. The only thing I really don't like about it is it's really long, and like I said, I think this is a good opportunity to go with a shorter name like Ice or we'll get to it later, but Yeti. I think those would be better choices, but they did go with Mountaineers. I would not be disappointing to me. There's also probably some cool logos they could do. I'm not really sure what, but they could probably do some cool stuff there with the mountains and all those kinds of things. Next up, we got Freeze. Very similar to the other ones I've kind of mentioned already. So I don't think they'll choose this one, but it's probably the best of like the snow, cold weather names I've talked about so far. It's probably better than Frost and Ice and Powder. Do I think they'll choose it? Probably not, but it's probably better than the other ones. So if for some reason they really want to go that direction, I'd probably go with Freeze. Or it's later on the list, it's Blizzard. But like I said, I hope they don't go Freeze. But it's, in my opinion, probably better than Ice or Frost or Powder or whatever it is. Next up is Mammoth. And those are kind of like the animals from the Ice Age. They look kind of like elephants, but I'm not really sure exactly what connection they have to Utah. Maybe they, used to live there millions of years ago. I don't really know. But I wouldn't be mad if they chose this one either, simply because it's a cool name, cool animal in my opinion. And also just because they lived in the Ice Age. I'm not like an expert on them or anything. Maybe they lived like mostly before or after, but I'm pretty sure they did live during the Ice Age, which makes sense because hockey, ice age. So if they did go mammoth, I would not be disappointed. I'm not, and the other thing, they probably make some cool logos from Utah Mammoth. Similar to the Mountaineers, the only thing I really don't like about it is the length of the name. I'd like to be a little bit shorter, and also I would prefer if it had some more of a specific connection to Utah. Because to my knowledge, there isn't mammoths in Utah right now. But at the same time, there's no Raptors in Toronto or anything like that. And I still think that's a good name. So I would not be disappointed if they went this direction. Then they give us black diamonds. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea why this is an option. Maybe it's something I'm just unaware of. Maybe it's like skiing or mountains or Utah specifically. I have no idea. If someone in the comments could please tell me, that'd be great. I don't really know why this is an option, so I'm not really going to talk about it much. I'm guessing that's something to do with skiing or mountains like that. I'm sure it is. I don't really know why. The other thing, well, two things, is it's pretty long. Like I said, I'm not like against it or anything. Golden Knights, I think it's a very cool name. But just because it's Utah 4 letters, I'd prefer to be like the Jazz. It just goes nicely. So, like I said, I don't really know why this is an option. I'm not really sure what they could do for a logo. But if someone could explain it to me, that'd be great in the comments. And then next is Blast. I also have really no idea why this is on here. I guess it's, only 5 letters, but other than that, I really don't know why this is an option. Again, if someone in the comments, maybe from Utah, could explain, I can't think of a reason why it's on here. Maybe you can. So, would appreciate that. So now we got the Utah Caribou. I'm not really sure how you pronounce that. But the Utah Caribou. I'm not exactly sure why this is an option, but I'm not against it. Did a little bit of research before on what exactly these are. I had an idea of what they were, but they're basically like some reindeer. And yeah, I'm not against it. I think this would actually be a cool idea. Definitely a unique name for sure. And I'm pretty sure the fans are voting on this. But yeah, definitely would not be against the Utah Caribou. It definitely sounds unique. I'm sure they could do a lot of cool logos with it. Like I said, they're reindeer. I don't think they actually live in Utah, but could definitely see them going this route just because reindeer, ice, cold, just to kind of go together. So I don't think they will choose this name, but if they did, would not be against it. It's definitely one of my favorites on the list, and yeah, I would definitely be okay if they chose this. What I do want to see, regardless of what they choose, is purple in the color scheme, because to my knowledge, no NHL team currently has purple in their color scheme or as their main color. The NBA has the Jazz, or I don't think they use purple anymore. They don't use purple anymore, but as sometimes for their alternates they do. Sacramento has, or Sacramento Kings do too. They also use purple. NBA has or NFL has the Vikings and Ravens, and MLB has the Rockies, but NHL has no one. So I think this would be a great opportunity to add purple to the league. Maybe as a primary color or it's a secondary color. It doesn't really matter. I just like to see it be added. I think that'd be this would be a good opportunity, especially because the Jazz do use it. I'm not really sure what they're thinking there. I'm not really sure if there's a specific direction they want to go, but I think it would be cool if they tried to use purple in some way to actually add it to the NHL. It's kind of weird they don't actually have a team that uses purple as the main color, but so next we got the Utah Blizzard. And out of all the kind of like snow, winter themed team names, this is probably my favorite. If they were going to go that direction, I'd probably want it to be Blizzard. Because when you think of like a snowstorm, you probably think of a blizzard. The blizzard's probably the most powerful snowstorm there is that I can think of. So it probably makes sense if they're gonna go that direction, they go with blizzard. It's definitely better than ice and frost and powder and all those ones. Freeze too. So like I said, I hope they don't choose this one, but if they did, I wouldn't necessarily be against it. Like it would some of the other ones in that kind of same idea or area. Then these next two are kind of the same thing. It's Swarm and Hive. I don't really have a favorite out of the two of them. I do know that Utah has some sort of connection to bees. I know they're like a big part, or they're a big piece, or they have a big community in the state. I'm not really sure like how many bees there actually are in Utah or whatever. But I also know they're an important animal there, so I definitely see where this inspiration comes from. I'm not a huge fan of either of the names, though. Probably, I would like it better if they just named them the Bees. They'd probably be better. The Utah Bees, but I mean, Swarm and Hive, I don't dislike them, but I definitely think there's better options. The next up is Outlaws. Like I said, I think this is one of those names that just sounds cool. It doesn't actually have like a connection. Maybe Utah has like a history and like outlaws and things like that. And like the, couple 100 years ago, things like that. But to my knowledge, it's not to the same level as some other Western states, but maybe it is. I have no idea. I'm not from Utah, so. But I do think it's one of those names where they just kind of threw it in there because it sounds cool, and yeah. So I'm not against this one, but at the same time, I hope they would go with something that actually connects to Utah more. Especially with, I mean, it's not really that. It's more just like hockey and like winter in general. Because I don't really know how Outlaws, or if Outlaws is the best choice here. They could do a cool logo, though. They could definitely do that for Outlaws. Same thing with Swarm and Hive. They could definitely do something really cool for that. With the whole bees and things like that. The next is my favorite on the list, by far. That's Yeti. Utah Yeti, 4 letters. 4 letters. Perfect there. It could also be Utah Yetis, I guess, but that's not that big of a difference. It makes sense. Yetis are supposed to be like a animal that lives in like snowy mountains. They're big, strong, scary. So yeah, it makes sense. I mean, like kind of meets all the requirements you would want for a team name, I guess. Makes sense because they live in mountains. Utah's known for their mountains, snow, ice, hockey, and then they're scary creatures. They don't actually live in Utah, at least to my knowledge. But I think it still works, definitely. Vegas Golden Knights. Golden Knights don't actually live in Las Vegas. Kraken don't actually live in Seattle. But I think this is a very similar situation to Seattle because they went with Kraken. They're known for being on the water and things like that. So they chose a sea monster as their team name. So it makes sense that maybe Utah, known for their mountains and winter weather and skiing, would go with a monster that lives in the snow. So yeah, this would definitely be my choice. I don't know if they'll actually do it though. But if it's up to me, this is probably the one I would go with. Next up is Squall. I think this is like a snow squall. It's like a kind of like a smaller blizzard, I guess. I really don't see how they choose this one. If they're gonna go this route, they might as well just go blizzard. Yeah, I just don't see how they choose this one. I just don't like this name, anyways. Blizzard just sounds cooler. It's the bigger storm, anyways. The blizzard. So yeah, I just don't see why they choose Squall. I don't really know why it's on here. Then there's Fury. Again, I don't really know why this one's on here. Maybe there's like a connection to Utah that I'm unaware of, but I just don't know why they would choose Fury. Glaciers. Obviously ice, snow. That's still part of that group. But I just don't know how you make this into like a cool logo, or just like something fans want to get behind and support. So I kind of don't really know how you go with that one either. Same thing for cannons. Like, I still don't know how you make that like cool, like exciting for fans. So I don't think it'll be that one. They could do cool uniforms for those two though, Glaciers and Canyons. Venom's very similar to Outlaws in my opinion. I don't think they're actually going to choose it. There's cool names in general that I do not believe any major professional sports league in America uses. So I think they're just kind of throwing it out there, but I don't think they're actually going to choose it. So I don't really think there's any like actual connection between Utah and Outlaws or Venom or anything like that. Then the last one is by far my least favorite on the list, and it's Hockey Club or just HC. This is by far the worst in my opinion. Only if they decide to go with it for one season before they actually choose a real name, which actually might be the best option just to make sure they get it right. Like I said, I would definitely not be against it for one season, but if this was going to be like their permanent name, that's absolutely terrible. They could definitely do way better. Literally any other name on the list would be better than Hockey Club. So if anything happens, let's just hope it's not Hockey Club. Please, just anything else. I'm also not really sure why this one's on the list. I don't know why anyone would want to vote for this. Why would you vote for Hockey Club? I just don't know why. There's a lot better options on here. But like I said, I definitely think Yeti's the best. That doesn't make sense. I mean, it kind of meets all the requirements you'd want. Mountains, snow, scary, monster, all those kind of things. It makes like a perfect team name. Utah's 4 letters, Yeti's 4 letters. I think it's like the perfect choice, and I think this is actually the one they're gonna choose too, which is great. I think they're gonna go this direction, but they may not. And there's definitely some other good ones on the list. I like Mammoth a lot. I like Mountaineers. I like Blizzard. I like Outlaws too. I like Caribou a lot. So there's probably a lot of good options. There's probably some that I'm not really as like educated on, that I'm sure people from Utah like a lot more, just because I'm not from there and don't know as much. So yeah, please in the comments if you know anything, give me your opinions, tell me what I missed, and yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you for watching.